Hello, 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 Facebook family and friends. How are you guys doing? This is Tab. I am so excited. I came on today is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays we go on live. I normally go on at 11:30. I am 3 minutes late, so please forgive me. But I was so excited, and I wanted to make sure that I jumped on today because in Georgia it is election day. It's voting day, and I am so excited. And it's not only election day here in Georgia, guys. I looked it up, and in several states, in North Dakota, in Nevada, in South Carolina, in West Virginia, and yes, in the great state of Georgia, people are heading out to the polls, and they are getting ready to cast their ballot and cast their vote. And I am so excited. It's something about this year that seems a little bit different than years before. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's the things that are going on in the atmosphere in the different locations. Hey there, Jimmy. How you doing? Good morning. It's just something different this year. And I have such an excitement about election time. And I hope that you do too. I hope that you do too. And you know that I got a little word for you guys this morning. Good morning, Havel. I hope I said your name correctly. Good morning, Havel. But I got some information for you because as I was just thinking about everything that's going on in the world, we have, just a lot of activity. We still got this virus going on, right? Y'all, the virus is there. Good morning, Lamont. We still got this virus going on. We have, the protests that have really been turning out really good as of late, which I'm so excited about. And it's not just been things going on here in the U.S., but you guys have been watching the news. It's been things going on all around the world. It's just amazing that in one perspective, you can look at it and say, God is so divided. But in another perspective, you can look at it and say, man, look at how people are coming together. And I'm the type that likes to look at the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm excited. I'm excited to just watch nations and countries rally behind some of the things that we've been seeing for a really long time and just come together on one accord. And I wanted to just talk to you guys this morning because, like I said, here in Georgia, it is election day. Y'all see, I keep fiddling. I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair. But it's election day for us in Georgia, and not again just in Georgia, but in North Dakota, in Nevada, in South Carolina, and West Virginia. If you have any family members that are in any of those locations, call them and make sure that they are voting. Good morning, David. Make sure that they are getting out and that they are going to vote. James, you're in the Carolinas. Yes. Much love to you as well. Make sure your Carolina folks are going out there and they're voting. Hey, Stefan, today is a day to make our voice count. Today is the day where all of this stuff that we've been doing, it has to now show up in the ballot. It has to show up at the poll. But what I don't want you to do, hey there, Daryl, is get discouraged. So let me go ahead and get your mind right. Now, let me get your mind right. When you go, if you haven't done your absentee ballot, like I did my absentee ballot, I cast it, did all of my votes. My son, he got his and he got all of his stuff done. And I went and I drove it off and I put it in the drop box for it because I was not going to put it in the mail because if that thing isn't postmarked, then you're going to have an issue. So I'm like, no, I think I'm going to drop mine off. And when you drop it off, good morning, Robert. If you drop it off, they actually have video cameras that are there so that they can video. So I put my ballot in the absentee box. Some of you are heading out to the polls today. Let me get your mind right. I need you to go ahead and pack an umbrella, okay? If you're a senior citizen, I need you to know that you don't have to wait in the long line. So don't let the lines discourage you. Go ahead to the front of the line because that is what they're saying. Hey there, Deidre. Go to the front of the line. Go ahead and cast your ballot. Now, a friend of mine named Stacy, she is my best friend. She went the other day to do her vote. And they're only letting so many people in at a time because we're still in the midst of a virus, right? Hey there, Harvey. So go ahead and get your mind right. I'm going to be in line. I'm going to stand in line for a minute. It's okay. Don't give up. This has a place that we're going and we can't give up in the midst because we see a couple of folks in line. Just go ahead and put your mind, get your cell phone charged up and have some music playing. Get your Pandora, get some music playing in your ear and just say, you know what? If I were standing in line for a concert, I wouldn't get up out of this line. If I was standing in line for a Super Bowl game, I wouldn't get up out of this line. If I was standing in line because I'm getting ready to go on vacation, I would not not get up out of this line. Don't get out of the line. It's going to be long. Now, let me give you another prep. In Georgia, it's supposed to storm today. We're going to pray that the Lord holds the rain, Jesus. But in case he does not hold the rain and he want to wash and put a little bit of water out there on the grass and the trees, that's his business. That's all right for him to do. Take you an umbrella, honey. Take you an umbrella, and do not let some water drops mess up your standing in line. Stand in line. Some of the ballots have already said, some of the voting places, that the machines were acting up. That's all right. They got to get it fixed. Get it fixed. Do not get out of line. Do not get discouraged. Do not walk away. I'm talking to you, Georgia. I'm talking to you, Carolinas, my South Carolina folks. I'm talking to you if you're from North Dakota, if you're from Nevada, if you're from West Virginia, you got family members in these places. Go ahead and tell them, get your mind right. Today is voting day. And hey there, Bilal. And we are not going to give up. We are in this. It's a bigger purpose than today. And we got to keep on pushing. But you know, I got a word. I didn't just want to come and talk to you about that. I also got a quick word for you this morning. Hang in there with me, if you will. A quick word, because some of you guys are doing a lot of things to encourage some folks, right? Hey there, Miss Kimberly. Some of you guys are doing a lot of things, and I don't want you to stop encouraging the people. I don't want you to stop encouraging the people. There are some of you out there, and you're like Caleb's. You're like Caleb's in the Bible. Now, if you don't know where Caleb is at in the Bible, I'm going to help you out. Caleb is in the book of Numbers. Numbers is in the front of the Bible. Y'all know I'm a Bible girl, so you got to go to the very front. You know I got my word here with me. You got to go to the very front, and you're going to learn a little bit about Caleb. Caleb was the type of leader. They were sent out, and it was in, I want to say chapter 13, that they were sent out to go, and Moses, was supposed to take the folks to the promised land. So Moses and some groups, they sent the people out, and they said, hey, go check it out and make sure everything is, like it's supposed to be. Because God had already told them, look, y'all getting ready to take this thing over, but they still wanted to go and just verify. Isn't it something we got to verify what God said? But that's another message for another day. But anyway, he said, go verify. So Caleb goes with the other people, and the other people come back, and they're like, man, I'm paraphrasing it. We ain't gonna be able to do it. Those folks over there bigger, they stronger. I've told y'all this story before. It's in the Bible. It's nothing that I'm making up. It's in the book of Numbers. And Caleb tries to encourage the people, just like some of you. Some of you have been an encourager in this season. You've been helping people to keep their mind right. You've been keeping people balanced when they get overwhelmed with the news and the media. You have been the person that has been out there saying, you know what, don't quit. It's bigger than us. Keep on going. Keep on. Kimberly, thank you. Caleb was a believer. Yes, he was. Caleb was the one that said, you know what, our faith cannot fail us in this season. We cannot faint. We cannot get weary in well-doing. Some of you are out there, and I need you to know now, election day is today in just 5 states. There's some other states. There's some other states that still have to go through this same process. The protests have not stopped. The protests are still moving forward. There are some Calebs that are out there, and I want you to know that you have a rightful place in this season. Don't lose heart. Keep on encouraging the people. What was so awesome about Caleb is Caleb got an opportunity to enter into the promised land, because Moses didn't get in. If y'all read the book of Numbers, child, them folks whined and complained and they murmured. It's going to sound something like this today. You're going to hear it today. The line was so long at the voting poll, and the machine started cutting up, and then it started raining, and why didn't they have, you're going to hear people complain today. Encourage them. Say, you know what? It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. And if that's all you got, just keep saying it. It's all right. And they're going to get mad, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. There are some Calebs out there. Keep the people encouraged. It's what you're gifted to do. God has given you that spirit of encouragement. Today, I need you to say, you know what, God, double up on me. Give me the spirit to keep somebody in the fight today. Give me the spirit to tell somebody, hang on in there. Give me the spirit to tell somebody, don't you quit. Give me the spirit to say, man, stop all that complaining. If you was at a football game, you would stand in the line. If you were at a concert, you would stand in the line. Man, I was at a concert. Let me go on and tell you this. I was at a concert, I think that was last year, the year before last, at Wolf Creek. We got this place called Wolf Creek here in Atlanta, and it was an old school concert, and they had SWV up there, and they had, oh my gosh, it was a whole, look, I ain't gonna give y'all the lineup list. It was a whole lineup list. Hey there, Cal. A lineup list of people were out there. And I remember the rain started coming down. Y'all, the ticket wasn't up to $25. Hey there, Walter. But I tell you what, I pulled out my little umbrella. And I was dancing in the rain because I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this concert right here. And then it got to the point where the rain just kept coming down, coming down. And I said, you know what? I'm wet. I just dropped the umbrella because I'm like, you know what? I am going to enjoy this concert. I had a mission. I had a goal. It wasn't lightning and thunder and it wasn't dangerous. It was a little bit of rain. Don't you know that there's towels at the house? Y'all got some towels at the house if it rained today. Just go on and get the towels. You're going to have to encourage the people, Caleb's that are out there listening. You're going to have to encourage the people to hang on in there. Hey, Ray, and don't give up the fight. Just hang on in there. So for all of my Caleb's today, I ask that you get a double up of strength and that you are able to speak positive words and remind the people that it's okay. Because like I said, Moses got so frustrated with them folks. They was complaining and they had rightful complaints. They're like, we out here, we're thirsty and you got us, you done led us in the wilderness. There's no food and there's nothing to drink. And they were just complaining. And Moses got so hot, y'all. He took this rod and God told Moses, he said, tap the rock and the water will come out. Moses was like, oh, I think I broke something. He broke something for sure. And the water came gushing out. Well, child, let me tell you later on, God told Moses, he said, because of that thing that you did in front of the children, because of how you displayed, you took it a little bit too far, surely you will not get into the promised land, the land that is overflowing with milk and honey. You can't go. He said, but Caleb, come on through. The encourager. There is a benefit to hanging in there, keeping a positive attitude, keeping the faith, as Miss Kimberly said it. Don't lose faith, encouragers. There is a promised land that's coming after all of this. We don't know what it's going to look like at the end of election time, but it's bigger than just this little 4 years, y'all. Go and vote today. Hang in there. And I don't want to just talk to the encouragers, the Caleb's out there. I also want to talk to the Nehemiahs out there. I was talking to a good friend of mine. He's a lifelong friend. His name is Cornelius Williams. We call him Coach Corn. And I was talking to Corn the other day, just checking on, my brothers and all of my family and friends. And I said, Corn, how are you doing? And he said, Tab, I'm looking at all of this stuff going on, my wife and Joanna and the kids. And he said, I'm like Nehemiah right now. And Nehemiah, if you guys don't know it, Nehemiah was a praying man. Nehemiah was the one that said, you know what? He was in the city and he saw that the city, they just tore the city down. Similar to what we've been seeing lately. They tore the city up. They were breaking stuff and just burning stuff, and they had destroyed the walls that were there for protection, the walls that was there for security. The folks had done tore the walls down. It was a rough time, and Nehemiah just sat back and he was watching it. And the word says that as he was watching it, he just began to weep and cry because he understood where they were coming from. But just to see all of this stuff going on around him, he began to weep and he began to cry. And the Bible says he prayed. He talked to God and he began to ask God, what do I do in times like this? There's some Nehemiahs that are watching. There's some Nehemiahs, and can I tell you, I need you to keep on praying. Hey there, Ronald. I need you to keep on praying. Don't stop talking to God in this season. Don't stop talking to God because there's a virus. Don't stop talking to God because there's some protests going on. Don't stop talking to God because it's voting season. Don't stop talking to God because you're dealing with stuff that has nothing to do with those three. Hey there, Gregory. Life is going on. People forgot that you still had life going on. You still got bills. You still dealing with family and friends and children, and you still got some goals that you had planned. And some of you are business owners and entrepreneurs, and there's life that's still going on, and you're now trying to coexist with all of this stuff that's going on around you. And I need you to keep on praying. The Nehemiahs that are out there, can I tell you, Nehemiah prayed step by step. He got his hands dirty. He said, I'm gonna help rebuild this thing. I'm gonna help re-strategize this thing. But he didn't do it without prayer. Hey there, Miss Cynthia. He didn't do it without prayer. Nehemiah said, you know what? Let me tap into some people because I can't do this thing by myself. He started to look and he said, oh my goodness, Greg has a talent, and Ronald has a talent, and Stacy has a talent, and Cynthia has a talent, and Gregory has a talent. And he started to encourage the people, and he said, God, show me where the people are so that I can encourage them to use their gifts and their talents so we can rebuild this thing and build it up right the way it was supposed to be built in the first place. But he prayed every step of the way. There was some things that Nehemiah saw as he was praying. He said, wait a minute, there's resources out here, stuff that I wasn't tapping into before. Let me get to the resources so that we can rebuild this thing and so that it can look and feel the way it's supposed to look. But he didn't do it without prayer every step of the way. He said, God, show me the resources and show me the people. And then he began to look. It says that he started looking for the folks that knew how to encourage. And he said, let me pray for the encourager that they don't stop that they don't stop encouraging folks. Let me pray for the leaders, that they don't stop leading people. Let me pray for the ones that are following, that they don't get frustrated in their follow. Nehemiah, for my Nehemiahs that are watching, watch, act, and pray. I love it, Kim. I love it. For those of you that are Nehemiahs, don't stop praying. Good morning, Sam. Don't stop praying. So my Caleb's out there, I need you to keep on encouraging the people, right? And for my Nehemiahs, I need you to keep on praying. Even during election time, for those 5 states again that are voting today, Georgia, North Dakota, Nevada, South Carolina, and West Virginia. Y'all prayer warriors. Now y'all say y'all know how to pray. Y'all the ones that grab the mic and be praying for 5 hours in a day. That's me, but I ain't gonna talk about myself. Now some of y'all know how to tarry before the Lord. I need y'all to be tarrying today. I need you to get out there and say, God, now I don't care if it's rain or sunshine. I need you to keep the people encouraged. I need you to pray for them that they stand in the line and that they don't get sick while they're standing in there and they don't get frustrated while they're standing in line, and that it's a peaceful standing line. Hey, Miss Lisa, I need for those of you, hey, LaShante, for those of you that know how to pray, I need you to be praying that all goes well, that there's no funky business going on with the ballots this year, that when I put it in the drop box, that it's going to get exactly where it's supposed to be. I need y'all to pray these ballots on through, that they count the vote exactly how they're supposed to count it. I need you to be praying for the machines. Let's just not talk about it, that the machines are down. The news has been coming on in each area. Brookhaven, y'all were on the news a few minutes ago, that the Brookhaven machines are down, where they're back up and running. I need y'all prayer warriors, y'all that say that y'all know how to conversate with God. I need y'all to get your conversation going. Tell the Lord that, look, there's some machines that aren't functioning like they were supposed to. God, we need you to touch the machine in the spirit. We need you to get it going, get it working. Hey there, Sister Angela. I need you to get to praying Nehemiahs that are out there. And don't just pray for voting day, because some of y'all are in states and y'all ain't voting today, right? So that's okay. There's still something to pray about. I need you to be praying and saying, God, now you know there's been some protests. Before the protests, there was a couple of riots here and there. What resources do we need? Who's gifted with this skill that can help build this up? And who's gifted with that skill that can help build this up? And where are the people that have talents and gifts that they can use in this season? Where are the resources at? I need the Nehemiahs. Hey, Miss Angela, I need y'all to start praying Nehemiahs in this season. We need you. There's some Nehemiahs out there that are ready to rebuild, that's ready to get this thing structured and set up the way it was always supposed to be set up in the first place. I need y'all to do what y'all supposed to do. So my Calebs, I need you to, I'm gonna talk to 4 groups of y'all today. The Calebs, I need y'all to be out there encouraging now. You do your part. Hey there, Scavia. And then for Tavia, and for those of you out there that are Nehemiahs, my prayer warriors, I need y'all to be praying today. The Nehemiahs, I need y'all to get on watch. I need you to pray. Now, who else do we need out there? There's some Esthers out there. Ooh, and it's in the interest of all my ladies just started coming on in. The Esthers out there. Now, what did Esther do? Now, y'all know Esther was in the Bible. In the Bible, I'm going to, y'all know I always paraphrase, but I try not to take stuff out of context. Hey there, Alexander. Esther, well, they said she was good looking on the eyes, that she was a beautiful woman of God, but she wasn't one that really used her voice. She didn't use her voice a lot. Hey there, Trisha. She didn't use her, that's my baby sister. Hey, Trish. She didn't use her voice a lot, but because of her beauty, she found herself in position where she was with the king, right? She got married really well. Hey there, Daryl. She married really well. She married, did good for herself. And she's married. And the thing is, there was an attack that was going on against her people. Y'all got to read the book of Esther. It's an awesome book. You got to read the book. But the attack was getting ready to go on against her people. And she began to get into the ear. She began to get into the ear of those in leadership, and she spoke some words that persuaded them and said, now, if you do this, this is going to impact me. Hey, they're saying, this is going to impact me. I need you to take care of this. And some of you out there, you've been silent like Esther, and you're not really sure if your voice counts. Your voice counts. Hey there, Donnell, your voice counts. Every voice counts in this season. I need some of you that have been quiet for way too long. I need you to start speaking up. I need you to start using whatever it is that God gave you in the right way. Now, what I love about Esther used her beauty in the right way. She wasn't out there doing inappropriate stuff. Esther used her beauty in a right way. Some of you have been given some gifts and talents, and I need you to start influencing people in the right way. Some of you know how to calm stuff down and get people to think things through clearly, and I need you to to bring that calmness to the table and say, well, wait a minute, let's think about this. And what about this? Some of you have been listening to folks with their different perspective of what's going on. And some of you have people, they've been coming to you and they're still coming to you because they're still discouraged. The virus is not over, y'all. COVID-19 is still going on, and some people are still out of work, and some people are still on furlough, and some people are still trying to find a job. They were already unemployed before this thing hit, and some people still have the virus, and some people are still taking care of folks that have the virus. See, we forgot, because oftentimes as human people, we get distracted by the next new thing, the next hottest news. What's the hot topic of the day? We are still in the middle of a virus worldwide, not just in a couple of places, worldwide. Hey there, Daddy, good morning. So guys, some people are like, I still need encouragement. I need somebody that can just talk to me and influence me to change my mind and influence me to get back on track and to get focused. There's some Esthers out there. There's some Esthers out there. Esthers, I need your voice in this season. I need you to talk to the people. I need you to use what God gave you in a positive way to influence change. I need, some of you have the ability. God has positioned you in corporate America for a reason. God has positioned you, and you're the only person of a particular race at your job for a reason. Some of you are the only person that's Caucasian at your job, and you're surrounded by a lot of people that are of different races. Some of you are the only African American person at your job, and you're surrounded by other people, and nobody there looks like you. But for some reason, God said, I position you at the table. I position you in the room. I position you in this circle, and you have influence, and you haven't been using your influence. Good morning, Charles. God said, tap into the influence that I gave you. Why did I put you there and you look like the minority? And I'm not talking about if you're just black. You can be the minority if you're just white, believe it or not. You're the only person. Why is it that God positioned you there and you're different than everybody else? Why did God put you in this circle and you think so differently? Why did God put you there and you wear your heart on your sleeves and you're always thinking about what's right for the people, and is this the thing to do, and is this the right thing to say, and is this going to impact somebody? Hey Mary, hey Charles, God positioned some of you, hey there Donald, God positioned you, some of you people, in places because he knew that he could use you to influence change. You're Esthers, whether you're men or women, you are Esthers. So Esthers, I need you to tap into what is it that God gave me, and am I working that thing? Am I using it the way I'm supposed to so that I can influence some change during this season? Don't you want to be a change maker? Don't you want to be a change agent? Don't you want to be the catalyst that set something off that was good? This is your time, Esther. Speak up, talk, 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 talk. Use what God gave you and influence the people, because there is a nation, there's a group of folks, and their lives are depending on you influencing change. You are the Esthers. Hey there, Robert. And then there's another group of people. Now this group, they were talking about this one man. This one man, his name was John the Baptist. John the Baptist, John the Baptist. And I love it. It was 4 people that were talking about John the Baptist. Y'all hanging me there. I got to flip. I got to flip for this one right here. They were talking about Jesus. Jesus was coming. I did this Bible study last night with my beautiful Saras and some family and friends that joined us. And we were talking about that silent period. That silent period was when the Old Testament was written. And then before the New Testament, which starts off with the Gospels, before that came on board, there was this 400 years of silence where nobody spoke. Well, people spoke. Let me correct that. God didn't say a word. God wasn't talking to the people. God that created and said, let there be light and let there be this. God that talked to the folks when they messed up. He talked to Adam and said, Adam, where are you at? Why are you trying to hide yourself? A God that talked to the folks through the prophets and told the prophets to tell the people that this needs to change. The same God talked to the major prophets and the minor prophets, and he told the folks, look, I'm coming and I don't understand why you're rejecting me. God got into the book of Malachi and he said, you guys are treating me like your enemy. You're not loving me. You're not following the laws that I gave you in the book of Moses, and you're doing your own thing. God got so that for 400 years, he didn't say a word. 400 years. And the last thing he told them, he said, you know what? I'm going to have to send y'all a messenger. The messenger was going to be God himself in human form. It was going to be Jesus the Christ. But for 400 years, the people were waiting for Jesus to come. Can you imagine what happens in 400 years? Generations done came and died off, and now it becomes kind of like a theory. Do you believe that God at one time talked to the people? Because nobody now is around to tell about it because they died, right? 400 years. Do you believe that there was a time when God actually was telling folks that they should and shouldn't do this? Do you really believe, kind of like what we deal with today, do you believe that there's this man called Jesus? That's exactly what they were dealing with. Now folks are trying to encourage people and tell them, look, the messenger is coming. The messenger is coming. But God ain't saying a mumbling word. God like, I'm just going to sit back and watch and see how y'all going to handle this silence. But then when he finally comes, when it's finally time, when the gospels open up, when it's finally time for Jesus to come up on the scene, I'm getting so excited that there's this John the Baptist, and John the Baptist begins to encourage the people and say, it's here, y'all. It's time. It's ready. And Matthew, you got to understand where people are coming from. Matthew was a tax collector. People felt about Matthew the same way people feel today about the tax people. We don't really care for the IRS. No offense if you work for the IRS. I pay my taxes. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. But nonetheless, here you have the tax collector, right? The tax collector is saying in Matthew chapter 3, verse 3, he says, there's a voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. He's talking about Jesus. There's a voice of one crying in the wilderness. Now that's John the Baptist. And he's saying, prepare the way of the Lord. John the Baptist is coming to announce that he's coming, right? So Matthew gives that record. Now Matthew is a tax collector. Now in the Gospels, it's 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Each one of them usually have a different perspective, but what was interesting in this area is they were all consistent. Matthew said the same thing. If I flip over to Mark, now Mark, y'all, when y'all read Mark is the action figure guy. Mark is the one, if you want to get some action and see what kind of things took place, you need to go to the Gospels of Mark. Mark is the set it off up in here gospel writer. Mark is the one, hey there, Stacy. Mark is the one that's going to tell you, nah, Jesus came in like this. Mark is about the battle and he's about the fight. He's the action figure. He's the transformer of the Gospels, if you will. Mark, let's see if Mark said anything different than Matthew. In Mark chapter 1, verse 3, same thing. The voice of one was crying in the wilderness. That was John the Baptist. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make its path straight. I'm going somewhere. Hang on in there with me. We're almost to the end of this thing right here. So John the Baptist in Mark says it the same way. Now, what about Luke? Now, Luke is the doctor. You know when y'all go to the doctor, especially for that first visit. Now, some of y'all, let me just go. I got to do it because it dropped in my spirit. I hope y'all are still taking care of your health. I hope you're still doing your annual your checkup. Some of y'all hadn't been to the doctor in a very, very long time, at least once a year, male or female. Hey there, Sion, male or female, I need you to go to the doctor. I need you to always make sure that you're healthy. I need you to get that blood pressure, that cholesterol. I need you to get your heart checked. I need you to get your eyes checked. I need you to make sure your teeth ain't shaking where they're supposed to be. You don't want to bite into nothing and the teeth move on you. I need you to make sure you're doing your annual checkups. Now that's just from love to you, to me, to love to you, to me. That was that moment because I care about y'all. I love y'all. But anyway, we're talking about Mark. Now, not Mark, Luke. Luke was a physician. Now, physicians are very detailed. When you go to the physician, you know they ask you all these questions. Is there any history of this in your family, especially that first visit? And when's the last time you had this? And when did that occur? And do you remember? And they go through this whole questionnaire. So Luke didn't just say, you know, what Matthew and Mark say, prepare the way. There's one in the voice of the wilderness crying out. Luke was a little bit detailed. Luke says in chapter 3, verse 4 and 6, I'm going somewhere. Hang in there with me now. Hang in there with me. It says the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. He said, every valley shall be filled and every mountain and hill brought low. The crooked places shall be made straight and the rough ways smooth, and all flesh shall see the salvation of God. I didn't know. Floss. Angela, you remembered it. Yes, remember to floss. Y'all got to go back to the stinky thing video. Thank you, Angela. So Luke is telling the people, he's like, look, let me give you a little bit more substance. John the Baptist wasn't just saying in this time of turmoil, in this time when everything is going on, and it didn't seem like God was quiet for 4 years. John the Baptist is coming, and he's not only giving you this, he's bringing back historical things. Because see, that quote was a quote that came from Isaiah. He's bringing back what the prophet said. He's reminding you that it's not just me showing up on the scene. I told you somebody came before and said that Jesus was coming, that Jesus was on the way. So Luke wanted to make sure that he reached into the family. family history, and he brought that to the table, and I got excited. Y'all have heard that little scripture before. If you've ever heard Martin Luther King dream speech, you've heard it. He says, and every mountain shall be made low, the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all his flesh shall see it together. Y'all remember that Martin Luther King speech? That was that part where you was like, ooh, you better preach, Martin, you better preach, because he was getting in that thing. That's where that scripture, that's where that part of the I have a dream speech comes from. So Luke wanted to make sure that people know that John the Baptist wasn't just talking. He was bringing back his story. He was bringing back, look, God told us this before. The Messiah, Jesus the Christ, is fulfilling the scripture. What does this have to do with 2020? Hang on in there with me. One more. Let's see what John said. Now, John is the granddaddy of all the gospels. He's the oldest one. John was there in the beginning, and John was there in the end. John is the one, you know how you can ask your mama something, and you can say, Mama, how did you do this when you were a kid? But then if you ask grandmama or granddaddy what they child did, which is your mama or your daddy, they got a whole nother perspective, because they're going to give you all the skinny. It's amazing how older people have that good memory, and especially when they get older, they say what they want to say, how they want to say it. I can't wait till I get old so I can just talk to the people the way I want to. God, I hope I don't get in trouble. But nonetheless, the older people, here we have John, and John comes with his historical perspective. He said, now let me tell you, it wasn't that just John the Baptist showed up on the scene. He said that the people were asking John. They said, John the Baptist, they said, who are you? And I'm in chapter 1. I got so excited, y'all. I'm sorry. Chapter 1 of John, the Gospel of John, verse 19. And John the Baptist, he confesses, and he did not deny. He said, but look, I'm not the Christ. I'm not the one that God said was coming. I'm just the messenger. It's not me, because the people were like, oh my goodness, it must be John. This is John. This is the messenger. And he said, no. And then they asked him, and they said, well, then what? Are you Elijah? Because they was talking about Elijah as well. And he said, I am not. And they said, well, are you a prophet? And John the Baptist says, no. And then he says, well, who are you that we can give an answer to who sent us? And what do you say about yourself? And he said, I am the voice. I'm the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord. He said, I'm nothing but the voice. There's some of you out there, and you've been thinking that you're not playing a significant role. To my pastors that are listening, to my preachers that are listening, to my elders and my ministers that are listening, to those that know the voice of the Lord that are listening, and you've been using your voice, and you've been starting to wonder, you know what? They don't even really know who I am. I don't have this huge, big platform, and maybe this isn't worth it. John just lays it straight. He said, I am the voice. There's significance. Hey there, Stephen, when you understand your role. He says, I am the voice. And some of you are the voice of change. You are the voice of what's getting ready to come. You are the voice to the Calebs, to tell the Calebs, keep on encouraging the people because they need to hear your encouragement. You are the voice to the Nehemiahs, keep on praying. The Lord hears your prayers. You are the voice to the Esthers. Esther, don't lose your influence. Don't lose that gift that God gave you. Use it and work it for his glory. You are the voice. Don't get discouraged. Some of you are the voice. You are the leader that God said, I can trust you to stand before the people. I can trust you to let them know that this thing is going to be all right. I can trust you to speak out loud. And I know that you're not going to get timid. I know that you're not going to have this whole pretty platform. You're going to have to come on out through the wilderness. You're going to have to come through something that you've never been through before. There's no playbook for this thing right here. We've never been in a virus. There's no playbook for what we're seeing going on around the world. I watched some videos because see, I wasn't born in the 60s. I was born in 1975. I wasn't born before then. I don't know what protests looked like before then. I don't know what riots looked like before then. I don't know what racial discrimination looked like before then because but what I do know, when I started watching the videos and when I started listening to these different movies and just going back into the history to understand how this thing has transitioned, and I started listening to my pastor, and pastor started teaching the history of how we got here in the first place. When I listened to that, I said, wow, I'm glad the voices didn't get silent. I'm glad the voices kept on telling the story. I'm glad the voices kept on encouraging people. Some of you are the voice. You're the voice. And I need you to let your voice cry out. I need you to let your voice tell the people that this is not the end. I truly believe that this is the beginning of a real good story. This is the beginning when we get to see, we get to testify. We're going to tell our grandchildren about this thing. Y'all, there was a time in the world when we were in the midst of a pandemic. The whole world was shut down, not just the United States of America. The whole world was shut down. People were sheltered in place. Folks was having to stay in. They couldn't go to the store. They couldn't do this and they couldn't do that. We're going to be able to tell the story, y'all. We're going to be the voice that transitions what history books used to capture in the classrooms. You remember them history classes that we had to take? We are history in the making. We got to watch what we're looking at so that we can get the details, because we don't want to misrepresent the voice and the history that we're going to tell our children and our grandchildren and our nieces and our nephews about. They're going to be talking about this for many centuries to come. We are the voice. We're going to be telling them that it wasn't just a pandemic, y'all. The racial inequality that took place years and years before I was even born, it popped back up on the scene. And there was this incident that took place. And then the world began to protest. It was no longer a black issue. It became a white issue. It became an Indian issue. It became an Australia issue. It became a New Zealand issue. It became a North America issue. It became a France issue. It became an issue where countries came together. And then the NFL got involved and they made a statement about it. And then Amazon Prime got involved and they posted a statement about it. And then companies like where I work, Talents, they got involved and they issued a statement about it. And then there was these players, these athletes. You know, the athletes they don't normally talk about it, but then LeBron came out and he made a statement about it. And then they had to go back because there was this time when there was this guy, he took a knee and people didn't understand the knee. They misunderstood where it was going. But then all of that got cleared up in the same moment. And companies came together and businesses came together. And y'all, we couldn't even go to church. We loved the Lord, but because of the pandemic, the church houses were closed. So then you had to come to this place where you had to say, you know what? Do I really believe this gospel of Jesus Christ? Do I have a word? Have I been paying attention when the pastor was preaching? Was I paying attention when the woman was praying? Because some of y'all have been saying, I don't know how to pray. How many prayers have you listened to? You got the roadmap. You got the template. You've heard people pray. You've heard people call on the name of the Lord. You do know how to pray. There's a Nehemiah on this line and you keep saying, I don't know how to pray. Yes, you do. All you got to do is talk to God. You don't have to have no special rhythm or formula about it. You just talk to him because he's your daddy. He created you. He loves you and he wants to hear your voice. You say, God, I don't know what's going on. That's what we're going to tell the children, that we couldn't go to the church for prayer. Prayer became, the sanctuary became our home, and we couldn't go to the church to get a word from God. The Bible became our home, and the church became our house, and the house became our sanctuary, and the house became the place where we had to worship. The house became the place where I had to tarry. The house became the place where I had to decide, am I going to log on and get a word? Because we were able to get some words electronically through this device. You're going to have to tell it like this, because I don't think we're going to be in the same type of technology. You're going to have to say there was this device where you could log on called the internet, and you could hear and you could watch people from all over the world, and we were getting words, and you had a choice. Do I want to log on today, or am I going to lay in the bed? We were in history in the making, and then protests started going, and then they started burning stuff down because the protests got a little violent. But I lived to see the story. Baby, I remember I was watching the news and I got a little overwhelmed. I got a little scared because I saw my city was burning, and I saw they was tearing buildings down and busting glasses out. But something I never saw before, I saw the protesters on one state, they got in the street and they took a knee. And then I saw the police officers in that same state, they got in front of them and they took a knee, and they was all praying for each other together. We were a part of history. We're seeing something we're going to tell our children about, y'all. We are history in the making. We are the voice. We are the John the Baptist that's going to be able to encourage people and say, we got through this. We survived it. Y'all, it wasn't easy. I didn't know how we were going to come out on this thing. And some people, some loved ones lost their lives along the way. Some people died of that virus that happened back in 2020. Some people lost some loved ones during this virus. Some people lost their lives when there was the riot and the protest. Some people died and it set off this whole chain of events. But for the first time in history, I saw people vote that never voted before. It was serious. It was exciting. And that's why I came on this morning, Georgia, North Dakota, Nevada, South Carolina, West Virginia. Today is your day, baby. You got to go vote. And I want you to be excited about it. Stand in that long line. If it rains, let the rain come. You get you an umbrella. You take you a towel out there. You cover your head. But don't you get out of that line. Don't you get out of that line. This thing is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. We are a part of change. We are a part of change. And we're going to tell our children and our children's children and our nieces and our nephews. For you school teachers, you're going to have something that's going to just override a history book. You are a part of change. You are a change agent. Oh yeah, see, I'm a Greek. I'm a Christian Greek sorority called Alpha Psi Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and my line was called the Chain Breakers. Y'all, we're breaking some things in this season. And I just came on this morning to tell you, stay encouraged. Again, for every Caleb that's watching, you are going to be in the midst of some people that are out there voting today, and they're going to get discouraged. I need you to encourage them to go vote. For some of you Calebs that are watching it, and you did your part, you told the people to go vote, but you also realize, hey there, Willie, that life is going on there. Hey there, Dr. Floyd, Dr. Goyd, I'm sorry. You realize that life is going on. Life is going on. And Lord, you're an encourager. That's what God gave you the gifting to do. You know how to encourage people. Caleb, I came this morning to encourage you. Don't you faint in this season. Keep on encouraging the folks. We need that. We need you. There are some of you, you're Nehemiahs, and you're praying and you're praying and you're praying. Keep praying. And don't just pray. Nehemiah didn't just pray. Nehemiah put his hands to the plow. He helped restructure and rebuild. Nehemiah, keep on praying and keep on building. Nehemiah, keep on finding folks that got resources and identify them and gifts and talents and put them to work. Say, look, we need each other. Be the change that you want to see. Thank you, Daddy. I love it. I love it. Be the change that you want to see. Get out there and if you want to see something different, be something different. But don't you stop praying. Don't you stop talking to God. Nehemiah, I'm coming to encourage you this morning. We need your prayers. We need you to keep interceding. Stay on that wall and tell God what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, and ask God to respond back, because prayer is two-way. It's not one way. It's not one way. Two-way. Y'all folks just keep calling me. They keep calling me. Don't they know I'm live? Don't they know I'm live? Nehemiah, we need you. Don't stop praying. Esther's that are out there. And you've had this small little voice and you never really used it. We need you to use every gift and talent that God gave you in this season. Don't bury that thing in the ground. One day I'm going to talk about the talents that were buried in the ground. And I tell you, God said, "Ooh, you wicked, lazy servant. I gave you a talent and you ain't do nothing with it." And he took that talent and gave it to people that knew how to work it. Don't lose your gift. Don't lose it because you're scared. I used to be scared to get on Facebook. I'm like, man, I'm going to get up on this thing and start to stuttering. And I got that Montana Southern twang in my voice. And I realized, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it scared. And I pray that I'm helping people and encouraging people and motivating people and just letting people know that somebody loves you and somebody just wants to talk to you every now and then. Use your gift. Esther, use your gift. We need you in this season. We need some fresh breath and some fresh creative ideas. And if Esther would have been silent, a whole group of folks would have died. Don't negate your gift, no matter how small you think it is. It's needed. And for all the voices out there that are like John the Baptist, oh, I need you to make sure you take notes. Some of y'all are journal writers. I need you to writing this stuff down, because it'll become a part of the history book. Voice on this moment, because you're gonna have to share this moment. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes, there is nothing new under the sun. As we're talking on the Bible study line, I said, this stuff is going on in 2020. It's new, but it ain't new to God. God with pandemics before. God has dealt with inequality in politics, the Sadducees and the Pharisees before. He knew holidays. There is nothing new under the sun. We are going to be history in the making. Our voice is going to be something people hear, counting the seed, every Baptist that's out there. And don't forget to tell them that what, like John said, what me? Man, I was making a way of Jesus. Don't you don't say that it's just, hold on, look at was very clear. He said, no, it ain't me, it was Jesus. It was Jesus' voice. So for those of you that share messages, them know our voice. There's a man named Jesus all this thing, everything all right. So now that scripture, he's going to show, and I just pray that I get to live this the day we had worked together for our good. The scripture and truth. This thing is going to work out for our good. So for those of you that do your part, send lines, pack your pants. That's what those say, pack patience. Well, this is the vein. And election is into this. God love you. Kind of funky little thing. I don't want to keep up. It's got to keep up with my talk. We have to keep up with it. Love you guys. I pray that you have a phenomenal day. Use your prayers, use your influence, use your encouragement, and do your part. Okay? I know I'm always going to need my lunch. I eat y'all eat together as we eat the day one less. I did hate you guys, so I will